I don't feel this is right. I don't know, should we let go? Diving into your mind just to overflow. Are you feeling the signs? Feel the cold in your bones. Looking up to the sky to see a silver sun. I can't be the only one who always feels this way. I can't be the only one who's slowly falling. I can't be the only one who always feels this way. I can't be the only one who's slowly falling.
Alright, so, as the title suggests, I am a complete freaking idiot. I cannot believe that I freaking missed this when I was doing this quest. Oh wait, hold on. Something weird is going on. Why do I have that? Oh yeah, that's right. Remove. That is why I was gonna stream Child of Light, but I got Sad Boy. Actually, let me not do this one. Let me just remove that. Just so you're not watching some nonsense. I'll edit it right here. Hold on. Okay. Let's do this. Sorry for the wait. Put it right there. There we go. There we go. Okay. There we go. Everything is fine. Everything is okay. But that just shows you that I am a complete idiot. But that is not what we are talking about. We are going to talk about what the frick happened for me to miss this person right here when I was searching this entire place. How did I miss this person? I was looking for Dorvine the whole time and I just completely missed, like, this part of the freaking section didn't exist to me. What the heck? I am Delano Dorvane. Thank you! I found that out just a few minutes ago. I keep business going here in Balmora while Halalo counselors are away, which is most of the time. Cool! Now, Raylan Halalo. Great. So, you do not belong to any house, but you have brought Raylan Halalo's murderer to justice. I will make sure House Halalo hears about what you did. There was a reward of 1,000 drakes, which is now yours. If you wish to join House Halalo, I will put in a good word for you. Thank you! Yes, please. Yes, you are a worthy candidate. We accept anyone who wants to join, even outlanders. Are you interested in joining? Yes, please. Very well. You are now a member of House Halalo. When you are ready, we can discuss business and advancement in House Halalo. Yes, business. I need someone to visit an apothecary in Vivek and acquire certain alchemical formulas. Go to Vivek to the shop of Arain Fernernis, find some of her notes or formulas, and bring them back to me. While you're there, you might want to pay a visit to Andrino Arethi. She's a loyal member of House Halalo who lives in Vivek. She may have some business opportunities for you. Where the hell were you the whole time I was in Balmora? Yes, you clearly deserve the rank of retainer. Congratulations, Jack the Ripper. The formulas, no. I don't want to upset them or anything. Aldrun has two main districts. The Retirant Council and Manor under the shell of the Emperor's crab are known as Aldrun under Scar. Oh, okay. After Annis, I don't need to do that. Canctonian Ponius? He's a local factor of the East Empire Company. He's usually an Ebonheart. Okay. Ebonheart, I don't know. And Drino Earth, she's a loyal member of House Lala who lives in Vivek. She knows the business. Okay. Hello, counselors. What? Here's a recent edition of the Yellow Book of Great House Halalu. It lists the current Halalu counselors and their residences. I might tell you more for a small consideration. Wait a minute. I did this on my other character. The one where I had the freaking bug with the dang old frackin' guards always coming after me for no dang reason. Even though I paid my bounty. What? How did I not miss you there, but I missed you completely here? That's ridiculous. God, I'm dumb. Okay, Yellow Book, blah, blah, blah. Here's some 50 drakes. I'll bribe you. The one you should speak with is Crassius Curio. His manor is in the Halalu Plaza in Vivek. On the Halalu counselors, he is one most likely to listen to your requests, whatever they may be. Okay. Okay. Drambero? I think he lives somewhere in Vivek. Okay. I don't know who that guy is. You know, all the counselors. House Halalu. Join House Halalu. You already belong. Never knows. She lives in Newell's Manor near Saran. Just take the road north of Saran. Out of Saran. Cross the bridge, heading west, and look for a manor south of the road. Yes, I did solve the murder. I finally freaking did it. After completely missing you on the last stream, I come over here and find out that you're just smack dab in the middle of this place that I just somehow couldn't see. Requirements. Rules. Oh. The journal has been updated. The rules of House Halalu are simple. You must never interfere with the business of House Halalu, or if you do, be sure you are not caught. If you're never caught stealing from a member or attacking a member, you'll be fine. If you are expelled, you will have to make amends. Okay. Suran. It's a busy port on the north shore of Lake Masobi in the northwest corner of the Ascadian Isles. You can get there by going east from Pelagiad and around the north side of the Dren Plantation, following the roads east until you reach Saran. You can also take a silt strider there from Molagmar of Vivek. Valana Amani? Amani Manor is on an island east of Vivek. You can get there by following the road east of Vivek, then south past Old Sotha. But it might be easier to just swim there from Vivek. Okay, so my new quest requires me to go to Vivek. There are other things which I need, such as the Pilgrim's Path, to do down there too, so instead of going to Caldera and continuing my journey there, I'm going to go to Vivek. But I do have books that I said I would read from the last stream. So, where are they? There are 4 of them. How many pages are they usually? Oh. 10. So, Brief History of the Empire, Part 1, by Stronach Cathoj III, Imperial Historian. Wow. Before the rule of Tiber Septim, all Tamriel was in chaos. The poet Trasises called that period of continuous unrest days and nights of blood and venom. The kings were a petty lot of grasping tyrants who fought Tiber's attempts to bring order to the land. But they were as disorganized as they were dissolute, and the strong hand of Septim brought peace forcibly to Tamriel. The year was the second era of 896. I think that's what that means. I don't know what that symbol means. If you could tell me what that symbol means, I would appreciate it, you know? So I have no idea. I'm just gonna go with era. The following year, the Emperor declared the beginning of a new era, thus began the Third Era. Year on. Context clues. That makes me think that means era. For 38 years, the Emperor Tiber reigned supreme. It was a lawful, pious, and glorious age, when justice was known to one and all, from serf to sovereign. On Tiber's death, it reigned for an entire fortnight, as if the land of Tamriel itself was weeping. The Emperor's grandson, Pelagius, came to the throne. Though his reign was short, he was as strong and resolute as his father had been, and Tamriel could have enjoyed a continuation of the Golden Age. Alas, an unknown enemy of the Septim family hired that accursed organization of cutthroats, the Dark Brotherhood, to kill the Emperor Pelagius the First, as he knelt at prayer at the temple of the One in the Imperial City. Pelagius the First's reign lasted less than 3 years. Pelagius had no living children, so the crown imperial passed to his first cousin, the daughter of Tiber's brother, Agnorith. Kintara, former queen of Silvanar, assumed the throne as Kintara I. Her reign was blessed with prosperity and good harvest, and she herself was an avid patroness of art, music, and dance. Kintara's son was crowned after her death the first emperor of Tamriel, to use the imperial name Uriel. Uriel I was the great lawmaker of the Septim dynasty, and a promoter of independent organizations and guilds. Under his kind but firm hand, the Fighters Guild and the Mages Guild increased in prominence throughout Tamriel. His son and successor, Uriel II, reigned for 18 years, from the death of Uriel I in the Third Era, 64, to Pelagius II's ascension in the Third Era, the 82nd. Tragically, the rule of Uriel II was cursed with blight, plagues, and insurrections. The tenderness he inherited from his father did not serve Tamriel well, and little justice was done. Pelagius II inherited not only the throne from his father, but the debt from the latter's poor financial and judicial management. Pelagius dismissed all of the Elder Council, and allowed only those willing to pay great sums to resume their seats. He encouraged similar acts among his vassals, the kings of Tamriel, and by the end of his 17-year reign, Tamriel had returned to prosperity. His critics, however, have suggested that any advisor possessed of wisdom, but not of gold, had been summarily ousted by Pelagius. This may have led to some of the troubles his son Antiochus faced when he in turn became emperor. Antiochus was certainly one of the more flamboyant members of the usually austere Septim family. He had numerous mistresses and nearly as many wives, and was renowned for the grandeur of his dress and his high good humor. Unfortunately, his reign was rife with civil war, surpassing even that of his grandfather Uriel II. The War of the Isle in the Third Era, 110, 12 years after Antiochus assumed the throne, nearly took the province of Somerset Isle away from Tamriel. The united alliance of the kings of Somerset and Antiochus only managed to defeat King Olgrim of the island's kingdom of Pyandonia due to a freak storm. Legend credits the Sigic Order of the Isle of Artaeum with the sorcery behind the Tempest. The story of Kintara II, heiress to her father Antiochus' throne, is certainly one of the saddest tales in imperial history. Her first cousin Uriel, son of Queen Potema of Solitude, accused Kintara of being a bastard, alluding to the infamous decadence of the imperial city during her father's reign. When his accusation failed to stop her coronation, Uriel brought the support of several disgruntled kings of High Rock, Skyrim, and Morrowind. And with Queen Potema's assistance, he coordinated 3 attacks on the Septim Empire. The first attack occurred in the Iliac Bay region, which separates High Rock and Hammerfell. Kintyra's entourage was massacred, and the Empress taken captive. For 2 years, Kintyra II languished in an imperial prison, believed to be somewhere in Glenpoint, or Glenmoril, before she was slain in her cell under mysterious circumstances. The second attack was on a series of imperial garrisons along the coastal Morrowind Islands. The Empress consort Contin Arenix fell defending the forts. The third and final attack was the siege of the imperial city itself, occurring after the Elder Council had split up the army to attack western High Rock and eastern Morrowind. The weakened government had little defense against Uriel's determined aggression, and capitulated after only a fortnight of resistance. Uriel took the throne that same evening and proclaimed himself Uriel III, Emperor of Tamriel. The year was the Third Era, 121. Thus began the War of the Red Diamond, described in Volume 2 of this series. Well, Red Diamond? Heck yeah, dude. A Brief History of the Empire, Part 2, by Stronach Caithoj III, Imperial Historian. Volume 1 of the series describes in a brief the beliefs of the first 8 emperors of the Septim dynasty, beginning with the glorious Tiber Septim and ending with his great-great-great-great-grandniece, Kintyra II. Kintyra's murder in Glenpoint while in captivity is considered by some to be the end of the pure strain of Septim blood in the imperial family. Certainly it marks the end of something significant. Uriel III not only proclaimed himself Emperor of Tamriel, but also Uriel Septimus III, taking the eminent surname as a title. In truth, his surname was Mantiarco from his father's line. In time, Uriel III was deposed and his crimes reviled, but the tradition of taking the name Septim as a title for the Emperor of Tamriel did not die with him. For 6 years, the War of the Red Diamond, which takes its name from the Septim family's famous badge, tore the empire apart. The combatants were the 3 surviving children of Pelagius II Potema, Sepphoris, and Magnus, and their various offspring. Potema, of course, supported her son Uriel III and had the combined support of all of Skyrim and northern Morrowind. With the efforts of Sepphoris and Magnus, however, the province of High Rock turned coat. The provinces of Hammerfell, Somerset Isle, Valenwood, Elsewhere, and Blackmarsh were divided in their loyalty, but most kings supported Sepphoris and Magnus. In the Third Era, 127, Uriel III was captured at the Battle of Ichidog in Hammerfell. En route to his trial in the Imperial City, a mob overtook his prisoner's carriage and burned him alive within it. Jesus. The heck? Why? His captor... never mind. His captor and uncle continued on to the Imperial City, and common acclaim was proclaimed Sepphoris I, Emperor of Tamriel. Sepphoris' reign was marked by nothing but war. By all accounts, he was a kind and intelligent man. But what Tamriel needed was a great warrior, and he fortunately was that. It took an additional 10 years of constant warfare for him to defeat his sister Potema, the so-called Wolf Queen of Solitude, who died in the siege of her city-state in the year 137. Sepphoris survived his sister by only 3 years. He never had time during the war years to marry, so it was his brother, the 4th child of Pelagius II, who assumed the throne. The Emperor Magnus was already elderly when he took up the imperial diadem, and the business of punishing the traitorous kings of the War of the Red Diamond drained much of his remaining strength. Legend accuses Magnus's son and heir Pelagius III of patricide, but that seems highly unlikely for no other reason than that Pelagius was king of Solitude following the death of Potema, and seldom visited the imperial city. Pelagius III, sometimes called Pelagius the Mad, was proclaimed emperor. I know you, Pelagius. In the 145th year of the Third Era. Almost from the start, his eccentricities of behavior were noticed at court. He embarrassed dignitaries, offended his vassal kings, and on the occasion marked the end of an imperial grand ball by attempting to hang himself. Oh, Jesus, dude. Holy fuck. His long-suffering wife was finally awarded the regency of Tamriel, and Pelagius III was sent to a series of healing institutions and asylums until his death in the Third Era 153, at the age of 34. The Empress Regent of Tamriel was proclaimed Empress Katira, upon the death of her husband. Some who do not mark the end of the Septim bloodline with the death of Kintara II consider the ascendancy of this dark elf woman the true mark of its decline. Her defenders, on the other hand, assert that though Katira was not descended from Tiber, the son she had with Pelagius was, so the imperial chain did continue. Despite racist assertions to the contrary, Katira's 46-year reign was one of the most celebrated in Tamriel's history. Uncomfortable in the imperial city, Katira traveled extensively throughout the empire, such as no emperor ever had since at Tiber's day. She repaired much of the damage that previous emperors' broken alliances and bungled diplomacy created. The people of Tamriel came to love their empress far more than the nobility did. Katira's death in a minor skirmish in Blackmarsh is a favorite subject of conspiracy-minded historians. The sage Montalius's discovery, for instance, of a disenfranchised branch of the Septim family and their involvement with the skirmish was a revelation indeed. When Cassander assumed the throne upon the death of his mother, he was already middle-aged. Only half-elven, he aged like a Breton. In fact, he had left the rule of Wayrest to his half-brother Uriel due to poor health. Nevertheless, as the only true blood relation of Pelagius and thus Tiber, he was pressed into accepting the throne. To no one's surprise, the Emperor Cassander's reign did not last long. In 2 years, he joined his predecessors in eternal slumber. Jesus, dude, why? Was it just his health? Is that really? Uriel Lariat? I'm gonna go with Lariat. Uriel Lariat, Cassander's half-brother, and the child of Katira I and her imperial consort Galavir Lariat, after the death of Pelagius III, left the kingdom of Wayrest to reign as Uriel the Fourth. I'm an idiot. Why did I say fifth? It's clearly fourth. Legally, Uriel IV was Septim. Cassander had adopted him into the royal family when he had become king of Wayrest. Nevertheless, to the council and the people of Tamriel, he was a bastard child of Katira. Uriel did not possess the dynamism of his mother, and his long 43-year reign was a hotbed of sedition. Uriel IV's story is told in the 3rd volume of this series. Wow. So all of his Tiber's bloodline is just gone now? Yeah. It's weird to think about, just thinking about you could be the very last of your entire generation, your entire freaking family tree. If you were the last one to be alive and you died, you would be the last one of that family. The last name of your actual name describes your entire family bloodline. Like, just thinking about that, your entire freaking family survived up until this point, and just your part of the family is just completely gone. Your survivors are no longer. Yeah. And nothing really links to you other than friendship, so maybe your friends could keep the history going. Even though your entire generation is no longer. A Brief History of the Empire Part 3 by Stronach Cathorge III, Imperial Historian. Instead of bloodline, I should probably say, instead of generation, I should probably say bloodline. I'm an idiot. Why do I keep messing everything up? The first volume of this series told in brief the story of succession of the first 8 emperors of the Septim dynasty, from Tiber I to Quintero II. The second volume described the War of the Red Diamond and the 6 emperors that followed its aftermath, from Uriel III to Cassander I. At the end of that volume, it was described how the Emperor Cassander's half-brother, Uriel IV, assumed the throne of the Empire of Tamriel. It will be recalled that Uriel IV was not a septim by birth. His mother, though, she reigned as empress for many years, was a dark elf, married to a true septim emperor, Pelagius III. Uriel's father was actually Katira's first consort after Pelagius' death, a Breton nobleman named Galavir Laria. Before taking the throne of Empire. Cassander I had ruled the kingdom of Wayrest, but poor health had forced him to retire. Cassander had no children, so he legally adopted his half-brother Uriel, and abdicated the kingdom. 7 years later, Cassander inherited the empire at the death of his mother. 3 years after that, Uriel once again found himself the recipient of Cassander's inheritance. Uriel IV's reign was a long and difficult one. Despite being a legally adopted member of the Septim family, and despite the Laureate family's high position, indeed they were distant cousins of the Septims. Few of the Elder Council could be persuaded to accept his fully as a blood descendant of Tiber. Yeah, it makes sense. He doesn't really have the freaking bloodline going for him, but I guess he was kind of related in the sense of adoption and being part of that bloodline's family. But still, I don't know. Maybe, why does it make them less special that they're not related to Tiber? I don't understand. I'm confused. Wait, isn't Tiber Septim kind of considered a god or something? The council had assumed much responsibility during Katira I's long reign and Cassander I's short one, and a strong-willed alien monarch like Uriel IV found it impossible to command their unswerving fealty. Time and again the council and emperor were at odds, and time and again the council won the battles. Since the days of Pelagius II, the Elder Council had consisted of the wealthiest men and women in the empire, and the power they wielded was conclusive. The council's last victory over Uriel IV was posthumous. Andorak, Uriel IV's son, was disinherited by vote of council, and a cousin more closely related to the original Septim line was proclaimed Sepphoris II in 3rd Era 268. For the first 9 years of Sepphoris II's reign, those loyal to Andorak battled the imperial forces. in an act that the sage Erentine called Tiber Septim's heart beating no more. The council granted Andorak the High Rock Kingdom of Shornhelm to end the war, and Andorak's descendants still rule there. By and large, Sephirus II had foes that demanded more of his attention than Andorak. From out of a Chimerian nightmare. What's a Chimerian? Chimer? Elves. I don't know. In the words of Erentine, a man who called himself the Camoran usurper led an army of Daedra and undead war. Jesus Christ, on a rampage through Valenwood. How the hell did he do that? Conquering the kingdom after kingdom, few could resist his onslaughts, and as months turned to bloody months in the year Third Era 249, even fewer tried. Sephirus II sent more and more mercenaries into Hammerfell to stop the usurper's northward march, but they were bribed or slaughtered and raised as undead. The story of the Camoran usurper deserves a book of its own. It is recommended that the reader find Pollux Ilthrae's The Fall of the Usurper for more detail. Really? Is that a book I can find in the game? I would totally fucking read that. That sounds fucking dope. Just undead and Daedra. Why does that remind me of something? In short, however, the destruction of the forces of the usurper had little to do with the efforts of the emperor. The result was a great regional victory and an increase in hostility towards the seemingly inefficacious. Okay, inefficacious, that's what it says. The result was a great regional victory and an increase in hostility towards the seemingly inefficacious empire. Uro V, Sephirus II's son and successor, swiveled opinion back towards the latent power of the empire. Turning the attention of Tamriel away from the internal strife, Uro V embarked on a series of invasions beginning almost from the moment he took the throne in the Third Era, 268. Uro V conquered Roscrea in 271, Cathnaqui in 276, Uneslia in 279. That's it. And then, that one just makes my tongue go weird. And Esroniot in 284. In the Third Era, 288, he embarked on his Moth. Why? Why did I say Moth? I said Moth. I have a lisp for some reason. I don't know why I'd make my tongue go like that. Why? He embarked on his most ambitious enterprise, the invasion of the continent kingdom of Akavir. This ultimately proved a failure, for 2 years later after Uro V was killed in Akavir on the battlefield of Ionith. Nevertheless, Uro V holds a reputation second only to Tiber as one of the two great warrior emperors of Tamriel. The last four emperors, beginning with Uriel V's infant son, are described in the fourth and final volume of his series. Okay, this is the last book for this series of Ordro's History of the Empire. A Brief History of the Empire, Part 4, by Stronach Caithoj III, Imperial Historian. The first book of this series described in brief the first 8 emperors of the Septim Dynasty, beginning with Tiber I. The second volume described the War of the Red Diamond and the 6 emperors who followed. The third volume described the troubles of the next 3 emperors, the frustrated Uriel IV, and the ineffectual... I keep messing that word up. The ineffectual Sephirus II, and the heroic Uriel V. On Uriel V's death, across the sea of distant, hostile Akavir, Uriel V... Why do I keep messing that up? Hold on. Come on. Stop messing it up. On Uriel V's death across the sea in distant hostile Akavir, Uriel IV was but 5 years old. In fact, Uriel VI was born... Why do I keep saying that? I keep getting that list for some reason. Maybe I've just been reading too much. Or talking too much. I don't really talk much. In fact, Uriel the Sixth was born only shortly before his father left before Akavir. Uriel the Fifth's only other progeny by a morgantic alliance were the twins Morehatha and Eloisa, who had been born a month after Uriel the Fifth left. Uriel the Sixth was crowned in the 290th year of the Second Era. The imperial consort, Thonica, as the boy's mother, was given a restricted regency until Uriel VI reached his majority. The Elder Council retained the real power, as they had ever since the days of Katira II. The Council so enjoyed its unlimited and unrestricted freedom to promulgate laws and generate profits that Uriel VI was not given full license to rule until 307, when he was already 22 years old. He had been slowly assuming positions of responsibility for years. But both the council and his mother, who enjoyed even her limited regency, were loath to hand over the reins. By the time he came to the throne, the mechanisms of government gave him little power except for that of the imperial veto. This, however, he regularly and vigorously exercised. By 313, Uriel VI could boast with conviction that he truly did rule Tamriel. He utilized defunct spy networks and guard units to bully and coerce the difficult members of the Elder Council. His half-sister, Morehatha, was, not surprisingly, his staunchest ally, especially after her marriage to Baron Ulfi, Gerson of Winterhold. Brought her considerable wealth and influence. As the sage Ugaridge said, Uriel V conquered Esroniet, but Uriel VI conquered the Elder Council. When Uriel VI fell off a horse and could not be resuscitated by the finest imperial healers, his beloved sister Morehatha took up. When Uriel VI fell off a what? He died by falling off of a horse? What the hell? How fast was he going? When Uriel VI fell off a horse, and could not be resuscitated by the finest imperial healers, his beloved sister Morehatha took up the imperial tiara. At 25 years of age, she had been described by admittedly self-serving diplomats as the most beautiful creature in all of Tamriel. She was certainly well-learned, vivacious, athletic, and well-practiced politician, and she brought the Archmagister of Skyrim to the Imperial City and created the second Imperial Battle Mage since the days of Tiber Septim. Morehatha finished the job her brother had begun and made the Imperial Province a true government under the Empress and later the Emperor. Outside the Imperial Province, however, the Empire had been slowly disintegrating. Open revolutions and civil wars had raged unchallenged since the days of her grandfather Sephirus II. Carefully coordinating her counterattacks, Morehatha slowly claimed back her rebellious vassals, always avoiding overextending herself. Though Morehatha's military campaigns were remarkably successful, her deliberate peace often frustrated the council pace. One councilman, an Argonian who took the Colovian name of Thoricles Romus. Thoricles or Thoricles? Furious at a refusal to send troops to his troubled Black Marsh, is commonly believed to have hired the assassin who claimed her life in the Third Era 339. Romus was summarily tried and executed, though he protested his innocence to the last. Morehatha had no surviving children, and Eloise had died of a fever 4 years before. What? So he was executed for... He was just executed on a whim. He wasn't exactly... They didn't really have any real evidence other than the assumption that he wanted her dead because she wouldn't help. Damn. Fucking rough, dude. Eloise's 25-year-old Pelagius was thus crowned Pelagius the... I don't know. Seventh? Pelagius the 7th? Hold on, I'm just gonna make sure real quick. No. 4. What? Wait a minute. What? Oh, they're continuing the freaking Pelagius thing. Okay. So, Eloise's 25-year-old son Pelagius was thus crowned Pelagius IV. Pelagius IV continued his aunt's work. Yeah, 'cause that's right. Pelagius III was the last Pelagius. Okay. Okay. Slowly bringing back under his wing the radical and refractory kingdoms, duchies, and baronies of the empire. He exercised Morhatha's poise and circumspect pace in his endeavors, but alas, he did not attain her success. The kingdoms had been free of constraint for so long that even a benign... The kingdoms had been free of... I'm sorry. The kingdoms had been free of constraint for so long that even a benign imperial presence was considered odious. Nevertheless, when Pelagius died after an astonishing... Why? Why do I keep getting tongue-tied? Okay, let's do this again. Nevertheless, when Pelagius died after an astonishing 49-year reign, the Tamriel was closer to unity than it had been since the day of Uriel I. Our current emperor, his awesome and terrible majesty, Uriel Septim VII, son of Pelagius V, has the diligence of his great aunt Morhatha, the political skill of his great uncle Uriel VI, and the military prowess of his great-granduncle Uriel V. For 21 years he reigned and brought justice and order to Tamriel. In the year Third Era, 389, however, his imperial battle mage Jagar Tharn betrayed him. Uriel the 7th was imperial... why? I'm just dumb. I'm just dumb. That's the thing. I'm dumb. I'm almost done, but I'm just dumb. Messing up everything now on this last book. Uriel the 6th... there I go again. 7th. It's 7. I don't know Roman numerals that well. It's 7. Uriel the 7th was imprisoned in a dimension of Tharn's creation, and Tharn used his sorcery of illusion to assume the Emperor's aspect. For the next 10 years, Tharn abused imperial privilege, but did not continue Uriel the 7th's schedule of reconquest. It is not yet entirely known what Tharn's goals and personal accomplishments were during the 10 years he masqueraded as his liege lord. In the Third Era, 399, an enigmatic champion defeated the battle mage in the dungeons of the Imperial Palace and freed Uriel the 7th from his other dimensional jail. Since his emancipation, Uriel Septim VII has worked diligently to renew the battles that would reunite Tamriel. Tharn's interference broke the momentum, it is true, but the years since then have proven that there is hope of the golden age of Tiber Septim's rule, glorifying Tamriel once again. Oh, man. Dang, that was a lot of reading. What was the other book? Why did I forget? There it is. It is recommended that the reader find Pollux Ilthries, The Fall of the Usurper for more detail. Okay, so this will help me get more context for the history of the Empire once I get that book. Hopefully once I find that book, I'll be able to read it and maybe get a skill point from it. Because it sounds like one of those books that would give me a skill point. Okay, so... Man, how long have I been streaming? Oh, shit! 44 minutes. 44 minutes, Jesus Christ. Okay, what am I doing? How's long? Oh yeah, that's right, I was gonna go to Vivek. I should walk there. Well, that looks like a decent walk. And I'm already 44 minutes streaming already. Or 45 now. So, thank you for watching and showing up. I hope you enjoyed. I'll be uploading. I upload all of the stream archives up onto my YouTube channel, which is in my description for Twitch. In case you missed some stuff on my streams and wanted to check it out. So today, all I did was I was a complete idiot and went back to House Hulalu Manor because I solved the murder of what's his name? But I didn't want to Criminal Manor in Vivek City is most likely to consider my request. No, they're not here. Raylan Halalo. That's who I solved the murder of. And I couldn't for the life of me find Dorvain when I went to the manor on the last stream. I don't know how, but I completely missed her. It's like this one part of the freaking manor I just could not see at all, even though I searched the entire place. Like, I go here and the person's like right there, but I always go through this place, through this door, and I just look at these people. And I look through here, I look through there, I look up, I go out. I see this, I don't see anybody, so I just leave and I don't look at this person. And I just completely freaking missed it. Like an idiot. It makes me feel real bad. And after that, we read the Ordro's History of the Empire, of which I found over in Caldera when I was going to look for this person at the Halalu council over there. So, with that being said, that's wrapping this up for this stream. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you. I hope I see you in the next one. I don't know that I will be seeing you in the next one, but I'm hoping. Anyway, later.